So perhaps you're having trouble with that first Word Dropbox assignment. This video is very targeted help that I hope will get you over any bumps in the road that you might have. Now, as I said in my last video to you, kind of the long one, I would use content and I would focus on working through every step of the content. So hopefully as you've come in, you've already looked at table of contents and you've gone through, let me scroll here a little bit, you've gone through this getting started, and so you've worked your way down through the help, so you're familiar with this, and you have found the first assignment here, Word Module 1 Workshop 1, and so I've clicked that. As you do, you might want to look at the learning outcomes. Some students like the narrated slides. That's available to you. Of course, you're required to do the quiz and see how this content, you're just working your way through this. Hopefully you've completed the simulator in My IT Lab. So you've gone out to My IT Lab and done that, and now you're working on this case. Well, this is, if you have heard the word assignment Dropbox, that's because the previous terminology in PAWS called these assignments Dropboxes. And so just to ensure some consistency there, we'll call that assignment Dropbox. So I need to read about this, so let me click on that. In step 1, it says that I need to save the files that are attached to this assignment Dropbox to my local computer, and I am encouraging you to make a folder so that you can stay organized. All right. So as I look down here, I see the names, and it says here these are the names of the files that you're going to save. And I'll give you a little computer wisdom here, and your book explains this as well. You will probably not see .docx once you save the file to your computer. That information after the dot is hidden because it really is only used to tell your computer what the default application is that's associated with that file. In fact, in this case, it's one of the reasons that they included the word PDF in there, so that you could easily see, since this is going to be hidden, because all this does is it tells your computer what to open, when it gets this file. So they decided to use PDF as part of that. Now, perhaps one of your struggles is, where are the files? Well, when you scroll down, you'll find them. Here they are. Now, there's kind of a trick here. The first file, the Microsoft Word file, you're going to be able to save pretty easily. You can just simply click on it if you're using the Chrome browser, which is the one I recommended. Now, I already created a Word folder, so I'm just going to save it into that folder. Okay, and so you can see it did that. Now, there's a little trick when it comes to the PDF files, because PDF files are actually made, one of the things people like about them is that you can use a web browser to open it. So if I click on that link, it's going to open, I'm still in my web browser, and it's opened that PDF file. And of course, one of the nice things about PDF files is that oftentimes they are used because they are not, normally edited. Okay, so this is oftentimes the reason people use those. But it didn't help me because I didn't get to save it to my computer, which perhaps was my goal. Whoops, sorry, a little zoom in there, but one thing an easy way to do this is when I moved my mouse towards the top of the screen, this menu by default will come down, and this is a download button, and you can just simply click on that, and that might be another way to download, and it remembers the folder, and I'm going to click on save. Now, another way that is a tool that you should become familiar with is to put your mouse right on that link. Now, don't be putting it up here. You have to keep it pointed right at that link. Don't point it up here. That's a different link. Keep it pointed right at that file name. See how it's got the hand there with the finger? And right click. Well, you say, what? Well, there's two buttons there. One of them is on the left and one is on the right. So whenever somebody says click on that, you never ask which button, because it always means the left button. Now, if somebody says right click, well, they're telling you what button, right? So I'm saying right click. Right clicking always does the same thing. No matter what you're clicking on, it gives you a menu relevant to what your mouse was on, right? The mistake a lot of people make is they'll say, okay, 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 I've got my mouse, it's over here, okay. See how the menu is different? Because I moved my mouse. I got to keep my mouse on top of that. When I right click, I get this link, Save Link As, and that's just another way to save that file. Okay, if you're using a different browser, your methods for saving the file will be different. I encourage you to get Chrome. If you don't know how to get Chrome on your computer, you might be able to ask a friend, somebody who has a little computer knowledge, or go up to the Southwest Help Desk or Tutoring Center and make sure that you tell them, I'm not looking for tutoring, I have to have Chrome. My instructor says I have to have the Chrome browser on my computer. Help me install the Chrome browser on my computer. Bring your laptop up there. You know, they can help you do that. Or if you're just trying to save the files, use one of the computers on campus. Save your files to a flash drive that you can take with you. All right, so I have my files. Now, which file am I going to open? This is my folder that I've created here. And I suspect you do not see this .docx and this PDF. That is something that I very specifically asked my computer to do by, under the View tab, clicking File Name Extensions. But if I, excuse me, if I deselect that, notice that I don't see that .docx or the .pdf. So one thing is, if I try to open the PDF, this is going to cause you trouble because you cannot edit a PDF file in, you know, that's not what the purpose of this is. So I'm going to close that. What I need to make sure that I do is double click my Word file and see the icons, how they were a little different. All right, now here's the next thing, and if you go through your book, they do kind of caution you about this. If I'm trying to click, you know, I'm like, why isn't it letting me edit? And I'm even changing views and I can select stuff. Why isn't it letting me change it? You might be overlooking up here towards the top this Enable Editing button. So that's the trick. That's what's going to let you edit, okay? Now I can start to make changes. In fact, I need to be more careful now as I click on things because I will actively be making changes. Okay, so we're still going through saying, what am I supposed to do? I've got the files now. What are the instructions telling me to do? It tells me next to open My IT Lab, log in, enter our course, and then click the link for course materials. Be patient as you wait for the page to display. That's so true. Here's a critical note. You must enable pop-ups in your browser because you will constantly have to enable pop-ups. Typically, if information does not display, then you need to enable the pop-ups on your browser. I think I cautioned you about that in the previous video. Okay, so moving along, what you're going to do is you're going to click to open the Word Chapter 1 eText folder. Then open the ebook so that you can follow the steps. Complete the steps in your book, your ebook, page 126 through 164. Okay, here is kind of a cool note as well. Before we move on, let's read this last important note. Important, it says, look for the blue shaded boxes. Notice that the instructions are in the blue shaded boxes. Plus, most include a link to a video located in the upper left corner of the blue shaded box that will show you, it actually demonstrates for you how to complete those key steps. Watch the video and then follow the steps in the instructions. Save your work often. All right, so I've already logged in to My IT Lab and I've already clicked course materials, and I've clicked the Word Workshop 1 folder, and I demonstrated that to you in the previous video. And as I look through here, here's the very first thing that we were talking about here, the Word Chapter 1 eText. So I'm going to click on that. Now notice that this is a pop-up box. I have those pop-ups enabled in my browser. If you don't, as I mentioned in the previous video, you're going to be looking for something red along this address bar here, anything red, because the red is telling you something has been blocked. You're going to click on that red and tell it to always allow those pop-ups. Now here's a link. I'm going to click on that Word Chapter 1 eText. I might get a pop-up error, so make sure you're checking for those red, alerts that might indicate you have some kind of pop-up. Okay, it says, listen, Pearson requires something to be installed. Well, you're going to have to install it, so here's the link. I've got to allow that because I've got to get into my book. And you just got to be a little patient. Here it goes. Voila. I am directly in my book, and now I'm kind of ready to start paging through it. And hopefully you did that before the quiz. But just to be a little more specific, it told me to go to page 126. So I'm just going to make sure, yep, there's 126, and I'm going to scroll down a little bit. And okay, so there's no instructions on this page, so let me go to the next page. I can, just for the purpose of this video, see this little 2-page view. Maybe might be easier because I can find my blue boxes. Blue box. It tells me how to open that document, so I know I need to do that, but I've already gotten, it wants me to open, I guess, a blank document. Well, I'm going to have to go through and read this step by step, but if I don't want to, here's that video. Now, playing a video while another video is playing is kind of challenging, but let's see. Okay, here's this video. It's going to tell me everything I need to do.
Microsoft Word 2016, Chapter 1, Blue Box 0, to open a document.
And so obviously I'm not going to play that whole video for you, but you can also see their short videos, 2 minutes, a little over 2 minutes, very short video. And it's going to go through, everything that you need.
Microsoft Word 2016.
It's going to go through everything
Chapter
that you
1,
need to know, which is also written out in these instructions. So you got 2 things that are helping you there. Now this is on page 128. I need to go all the way through page 164, and along the way I'm completing every step in these blue boxes. I'm just going through and I'm completing the assignment, okay? And that's what the assignment is. Now, let me continue reading from pause. So we're going through these instructions, and I would do the work exactly what the book told me to do. Before you submit the required files, always be aware of these very important notes to avoid point loss. You will replace last with your last name and first with your first name. So a student named Anna Apples would submit the file that they're creating, W01, that's Word, Module 1, Chapter 1, PUTS, and then there would be an underscore, and they would put Apples Anna, because look here's what you're going to submit. It says submit the required files. Now, where do these files come from? You're going to create these files as you follow the steps in your book. The only difference is I don't want 20 students all submitting a file with the exact same name. It's much easier for me to grade if you will follow the instructions, and I do dock points if you don't, because what I'm asking you to do here is to replace the word last with your last name and replace the word first with your first name, so that if your name, for example, was Anna Apples, your file that you submit would be named just like that. Okay? Now, read the rest of these notes. You don't need to type the .docx or the .pdf. Remember, the computer is hiding those file extensions from you. So they're there, you do not type them. Before you submit your files, you must close all your open files except the browser. Keep the browser open, but if I've got my Word file out here, I cannot have this open and simultaneously try to submit it. So don't do that, okay? Don't do that. You're going to close everything, but you're going to be in your browser window because this is where you come to submit your files. how do I submit my files? Well, for help submitting the files into the assignment Dropbox, make sure all your files are saved and closed as explained above. If you still need help, I provided some videos for you, and so there's some links right there, but it's really just as simple as this. Now, of course, I haven't done my work yet. I would click on upload. I can also just drag and drop them into this area, but I'm going to click on upload, and then I would go to my folder and I would make sure that I submitted the correct files. Okay, once you once you submit those correct files, let's just and I can submit, open more than one. See how it's uploading them? Now don't get trigger happy here. You got to wait till it finishes and then scroll down and you would click submit. Okay, that's it. You can write me a comment if you like. You are not required to. And now it tells me the files are submitted successfully. You'll actually get an email. PAWS will email you a receipt that you submitted some files. You may want to double check. Look, see now PAWS actually shows you the .docx and the .pdf. So that way you'll know for sure that they're there. You don't want .docx. Don't want it there twice. That means you typed it. Okay, and the computer can do that for you and does that for you. That's all there is to it. You follow these instructions. Obviously, the majority of the work is going to be from your book, where you go through and you complete the steps in this assignment. It's going to prompt you everything along the way that you need to do, and you would just do that for the required pages. So hopefully that will help you successfully complete your first assignment. If you're having troubles outside of that, due to time, you may want to go to the Academic Support Center in the library, ask for some tutoring. If you're having technical problems, you don't have the Chrome browser, you cannot figure out how to enable pop-ups, there are a couple things that you can do. You may want to ask the tutors in the Academic Support Center. They might be able to get you past that. Or you can ask the technical support people to help you with that. So somebody is going to be able to help you with that. Hopefully this video puts you on the right track. And I want a bunch of A students, so I hope you're watching. I know the videos are long, but this is everything you need to know. So it's kind of like being in class, okay? 17 minutes instead of an hour and a half to 3 hours each week. All right, so I hope it was beneficial, and like I said, I really hope it helps you to earn the best grade possible and to just show me all those great skills. So thank you, and we'll talk to you later.